Right, welcome guys. Today we're going to be having a look at how to load a wide format printer and how to load a material for that printer within the Dolphin system. So you can see I'm in a quotation at the moment. I've already loaded a random client. I'm going to click on my signage tab, hit the plus button to add a new section. Okay. Now, in the case over here of the wide format section column, you can see this is where you're going to populate all the various types of jobs that you do within your company. Okay, so today we're going to look at adding a wide format printer. So I'm going to select a poster and just do a simple quotation based on a poster. So I'm going to add that in. We then need to specify the quantity. Now, to explain how we set this up, I'm going to list the quantity as one poster because it makes it easy to understand the calculations. Now, the next thing we need to add in is the size of the poster. So I'm going to put it in as an A1 poster, which is 841 by 594. Now, when we're adding a new wide format printer, you need to come down to your task window, hit the plus button, go to your printing category, and this is where you're going to see the list of wide format printers. Now, we already have 4 printers in the list, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to load a brand new printer. So we're going to come down to this little green plus button in the bottom left corner. We're going to click that. It's going to open up a field for us to populate the new printer details. So under category, we're going to click on that column, hit the drop down, and we're going to link it to our printing section. So I'm going to select that. That way, after we've loaded the printer, it will be categorized under the heading printing. After that, if you click in the next column for name, you're going to get this little editing block. Are you sure you want to edit the setup values? You're going to say yes. That will allow you to continue. You're then going to click into the name column and list the printer you're actually loading. So I'm just going to load a random printer over here. So I'll maybe say it's going to be I'll give it my own name. I'll call it the PrintJet. And this is a wide format printer. You don't need to specify it's a wide format printer if you already know that. But I'm just going to put it in for the purpose of this exercise. So now we loaded the brand name of the printer. We can come across to the charge. Now, what's important to know about the charge is a charge is what you are going to charge per square meter to print on this machine. Now, that charge needs to comprise of various factors. It needs to have a ROI, in other words, a return on investment, so that you can recover the cost of the printer. It needs to have a labor fee attached to it. In other words, whoever the person is who's operating that printer, he needs to be accounted for. His time needs to be accounted for. And it needs to be inclusive of the ink. Now, when we're looking at the ink in combining it in a charge per square meter, normally when you purchase a machine, the installer or the company you're purchasing that machine from will tell you this printer on maybe a production mode setting could lay down so many picoliters of ink with a 60% coverage per square centimeter or whatever the case may be. So they give you an average ink consumption per square centimeter or per square meter. That is very important. If you know how much ink it's laying down at a certain ink coverage in a certain print mode, you can extrapolate that and add it on to this charge. So that needs to encompass all of what I've mentioned now. So let's say this particular PrintJet, which is a Chinese machine, the ink is cheap, that type of a thing, the machine itself was cheap. We want to cost it out at maybe 100 Rand per square meter. So that's where you're going to put the cost in, under the charge column. Okay. You can also put in a minimum cost. So you know, if you're printing something small in that printer and it works out to maybe 40 Rand for the print, you can put in a minimum cost of 50 Rand. So whenever your print cost falls under 50 Rand, it will default to 50 Rand. So I'll just do that. You don't have to put it in. That's if you want to put it in. The rate you're going to specify as 1. Okay. Then you're going to move across. And you can see we can populate a setup time. Now, this is also where the labor aspect comes in. Because if somebody, let's say your DTP operator is sending the file to the actual printer, the guy who's doing the printing on the wide format, he sometimes needs to open that file. He needs to drag that image into the printer's RIP software. And RIP software is the software that controls the printer. Okay, so he normally needs to drop the software in there. He decides if he wants to scheme it up with another job. He decides basically if he wants to run that image landscape portrait. There's a couple of factors that needs to be considered. But if you want to make allowances for that time spent under the printer and not under an extra cost for maybe pre-press, you can load it in here. So in other words, if it's going to take him 10 minutes, then you're going to populate it with 0.16. That is 0.16 of an hour, which will give you 10 minutes. Okay, so that would be for the setup time. He may also have to remove a vinyl roll and put in a poster paper roll, and that takes time. So if you want to account for it, you can make an allowance in the setup time column. Now, moving across, what's very important is unit of measure. You need to specify which unit of measure you want the system to use when it calculates the cost of the printing. Now, with wide format, we normally use square meters, but just to expand, if you're loading a different machine or something, we have lineal meters, square meters, sheets, perimeter meters, hours each, or multi-sided square meters. So we're going to select square meters for wide format. Then we're going to scroll across and you can populate the gap down and gap across. Now, this is very important because if you're printing something like labels, okay, and you're quoting on 1,000 labels, you need to have a gap in between those labels because you still need to trim it or cut it or whatever after the print is done. So you determine what you want that gap to be. It could be 3 mils, 6 mils, 5 mils, whatever the case may be, depending on what you're doing after it's printing. And you can populate it in here. I'm just going to say it's 5 mils gap down and a 5 mil gap across. So now you know between every label or every print, you're going to have a 5 mil gap both across and down. Now, it's important to specify it because when Dolphin works at the paper consumption, it allows for all those 5 mils to be added on. Now, scrolling across, another very important thing we need to populate is the lead-in. Now, for those of you who don't understand what a lead-in is, on any wide format printer, when you start that printer, once it has a roll of paper in it, it's going to feed that paper through the printer and it's going to align it in a certain position to make it print ready before it starts printing. Okay. Now, once you hit the print button and it starts printing, the lead in is the distance between the edge of the paper that's been ejected and where the print starts. Okay, so different printers have different lead-ins. I'm just going to say this lead-in is going to be 150 mils. Now, how you can determine a lead-in, next time they're about to start printing a job in the factory, you can walk over there, he's going to start printing, you can pull out a ruler or tape measure and measure from the edge of the sheet to where the print starts. That is going to be your lead-in. And you can populate that for every one of your wide format printers. Because as you can imagine, if you're doing multiple prints on a roll of paper, every time you start a new print, it's going to eject 150 mils of paper. Over 10 different jobs, that's going to amount to 1.5 meters of paper, which you haven't accounted for. So that falls on you to recover that cost. If you add it in here, Dolphin accounts for that wastage in the quotation. So in a nutshell, the customer pays for that paper which you cannot use. Okay, so it's very important to add in the lead-in. Now, once that's been populated, the printer is pretty much set up. There is another column which you can populate at a later stage, and that is speed. Now, the speed column works in relation to your planning module in Dolphin and also your eJobs live shop floor tracking module. And where that comes in handy is if you put in a speed, like the printer can maybe print, for argument's sake, 6 square meters an hour, whatever the case may be, you can populate the speed. It doesn't affect the cost of the job when you're doing a quote, but it will give you an accurate depiction of how much time will be spent on that printer in your planning module. So now you know if you've got 10 jobs planned and the total amount of time that it's going to be on that machine is, for argument's sake, going to be 2 hours, then it will pull it through to planning and tell you can only put the next job on at such and such a time because you have these other jobs running before it. So that's where the speed becomes important. If you're not running the planning module or the eJobs tracking module, you don't need to populate that speed. It doesn't have any relevance on the cost when we're calculating at the price per square meter. Okay, so I hope that is understood. Now, once that's been populated, all you need to do is highlight the machine as it currently is and hit the add button to pull it into the quotation. Okay, we'll come back to how it's calculating the cost afterwards. The next thing we're going to look at is we need to add a material to this particular printer because the cost it's calculating here is only based on ink and machine cost. It doesn't have material included. So to add a material, you're going to come over to the material column, you're going to hit the plus button, and you can now see listed all your materials that is currently in your database for signage. If you're looking for a particular paper, you can just hit poster or type in poster and it will filter through and show you a list of all your poster papers. So I'm going to look at this poster jet paper. So in the case of this poster paper, when you're loading a new paper into your database, okay, you're going to hit this green plus button. It's going to open up a field similarly to when you added the printer, and you can type in the brand name of the paper. Like I've done here, it's called Poster Jet Paper. Now, the next thing you're going to need to populate is the color of the paper. In most cases, that's going to be white. Then, very importantly, the depth. The depth is you need to determine how many meters is on your roll of paper. If it's a 50-meter roll of paper, everything in Dolphin is calculating in millimeters in this section over here. So 50 meters is the equivalent of 50,000 millimeters. So your depth is going to be the total length of your roll, which is 50,000 millimeters for a 50-meter roll. The width is going to be the width of the roll you choose to buy. So in this case, it's a 1.6 meter roll of paper. So we're putting it in as 1,600 millimeters. You can specify the grammage of the paper. If you don't know what the grammage of the paper is, it's not a train smash. You can leave it at 0. But it's very important, obviously, if you've got multiple poster papers like a 190, a 200 and so on, if a customer specifies they want the 190, then it's easy to search for if you have the grammage column populated. Okay. Now, very importantly, next to that, we've got the unit of measure that Dolphin is going to look at when it calculates your paper. Now, because wide format is set up at the cost per square meter, you want to marry that up on the paper side and you want to determine the cost per square meter of your paper. Okay, so this cost over here needs to be the cost per square meter. Now, heading over to the top right, you're going to populate under supplier, who the supplier is. In this case, it's Maisie. Then the price is your price per roll of the paper, not your price per square meter, what you are paying per roll. So in this case, it's 1,100 Rand a roll. And if you have that and you need to determine the square meter cost, it's just 1,100 on your calculator divided by 1.6 divided by 50. Okay, and that's going to give you your square meter price, which in this case is 13 Rand 75 per square meter. Now, the reason why these prices differ, I'll explain that in detail. Like I mentioned before, you need to populate the paper price on the left-hand side of the column the same as your unit of measure. So if you're running square meters, the cost factor needs to be a price per square meter. On the top right, this is for purchasing. When you're generating purchase orders and you want to buy in a roll of paper, Dolphin is going to look at this top right column and it's going to say the supplier is Maisie. It will pull it through automatically in the production module when you want to order the paper. The minute you select its poster jet paper, it will automatically pull through the supplier as being Maisie, and it will give you the cost per roll, because you're not going to buy poster paper per square meter, you're going to buy it per roll. So that's why you've got the price per roll on the top right hand corner. This relates to when you're purchasing or you generating purchase orders. This on the side here per square meter relates to how it calculates in your quotation. So once you've populated that correctly, you can just hit the add button with the paper highlighted and it will pull it into the quotation. So to give you a rundown of how Dolphin calculates this cost, we specified that your PrintJet wide format printer is going to look at the square meterage of the size of the job. Okay, so when it calculates how many square meters needs to be costed for, it's going to look at your depth and your width and determine how many square meters that is multiplied by the quantity. So keeping it simple, we said the quantity is 1. So if you work out square meterage for that size, you're going to say on your calculator 0.841 by 0.594, and it's going to give you an answer of 0.4995. And you can see over here, that's what Dolphin has calculated correctly. So it's not taking into account the width of the roll and what you are using. It's just taking into account the print size, because when you're printing, it's just throwing down ink on that physical size. So this is correct. It's going to work out according to the size of the print and the amount of copies. So that will determine your total square meterage that needs to be printed. And if you multiply that by the charge, which is 100 Rand, it's going to give you that particular cost. So if I, on my calculator, 0.499554 by 100 Rand per square meter, it's going to give me 49 Rand 95. But remember, we've added in time for setup. Okay, the labor factor. So it's taking that time as well, multiplying it by your cost per hour and adding it to your print cost, because you have a labor factor associated for setting that machine up. And that total together is going to give you a cost of 65 Rand 96 cents. Okay, so that's how it's calculating the print cost. Now, you'll see that your total square meters to be printed is 0.5 or 0.499. And if you look at your material, it's telling you the amount of material is 1.2 or 1.1984. Now, if you're asking yourself why this varies, like I mentioned before, the total quantity under the printer, it's only printing the size that you've specified on top. The rest of the paper around that print is blank. It's not throwing ink down on that area, so it shouldn't be charged for ink to recover ink cost. On the right under material, it's taking in the area of your depth and your width. It's adding in your 150 mil lead-ins, your gaps, all that type of peripheral figures that you typed in when you set the machine up, which is your gap down gap across, and lead in. It's adding it to that area, and it's using the complete width of the roll. So if you're running this 594 by 841 with the 841 running along the width of the printer, which is the most economical way to run it, it's not calculating 841 for your material because you're running it on a 1.6 meter roll. It's calculating the entire width of the roll, because after this printer is cut down, all that wastage on the side cannot be recovered. It goes in the bin. Okay, so if you scheme it up and you've got a gap on the side, it needs to be, that cost of that extra paper on the side needs to be recovered. So when Dolphin works material out, it's taking the complete width of the roll, which is 1.6, and then along the roll, the 594, it's adding 150 mils to 594 for your lead-in, and it's adding your 5 mil gap, and whatever you specify is going to be ejected on the edge of that print. And it's giving you a total of 1.1984 square meters of actual material that's going to be used to print a half a square meter print. So you will find a variance between the amount of square meters under material and the amount of square meters under the actual print. I hope that all makes sense. And then it takes that square meterage, multiply it by the cost per square meter, and it's going to give you your actual cost of your paper. And that two combined is actually going to give you your selling price, which is your total cost, which is 82.43 Rand. And because you've got a 40% markup on that, it's giving you a selling price of 115.41 Rand for one A1 poster. So just to recap, the printing cost includes the labor or your setup or make-ready cost. It includes the ink and the recovery of the machine. And the material is printing the entire width of the roll, whether you use it or not, by the length, which is your 594 plus your lead-in and your gaps and everything else. And that's basically how you need to set up wide format printing in the signage section of Dolphin. So be careful, always add in your gaps down, gaps across, and lead-ins. If not, if I show you I make my lead-in 0, I make my gap 0, you'll see it's going to affect at the end of the day. It's going to affect maybe just a little bit over here because it's only one poster, but it will affect the total square meterage that is going to be not printed, but you can see a drop from 1.2 on my material to 0.9584. That's because I took the lead-in out and I took the gaps out as well. So you can see I took that last 5 mils out and it changed to 0.9504. So if you don't have lead-ins and gaps included, then your material, you're going to have to pay for that wastage because it won't be accounted for. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. You can see that every time I've overridden something in Dolphin, just on the side, the background changed to green. If you want to change it back to what the system had calculated, you just need to hover your cursor over the green block, right click on your mouse, go undo changes, click yes, click OK, and it will revert back to whatever is currently in your setups in the background. So you can see I'm doing it with those 3 columns. The green is disappearing and it's been populated with whatever is in the setups, and our material is back to 1.194 or 1.2 square meters for the paper. So I hope that was useful when you're adding a wide format printer, and I'll be trying to do this with various other printers in the future and posting the videos, but please make use of this channel. If you are unsure, before you put through a support ticket to Dolphin, maybe just have a look on the channel and see if there's already an instructional video being posted. In other words, just watch the video, try it. It will also give you a better understanding on how we populate things in the system. So thank you so much for your time today, and have an awesome day further. Thank you.